Foreplay, episode 16. This is Players Championship Week. Foreplay, as always, presented by Barstool Sports.
Yep.
It's Riggs and Trent. We're back. We got a big episode.
Big episode.
Probably, I was thinking about this, probably a top 10 guy to get for me.
I would say top 5 for me.
Probably top 5 in all of golf.
Yeah.
David Feherty. In the office, put him through the ringer. We had him on the pod. We have about 30 minutes with him coming up later. I mean, the guy's telling stories. We talk about playing in the 1991 Ryder Cup War by the Shore. We talk about his fanny pack.
Yeah.
Talk about losing a trophy. He lost a trophy after winning a tournament because he went to a Led Zeppelin concert.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of rapid fire. We asked how he felt about Phil's leather jacket.
Phil's leather jacket, lemon lime Gatorade, the colors. Rob was really interested in that. Play catch, have a catch. Pretty much any Barstool argument that has ever happened, we asked David Feherty about.
So lots of good stuff from Feherty. He was in the office for about an hour with his whole crew.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome moment. Pretty awesome day for us.
He signed the wall. We got the Barstool wall where all the people who come in, they sign it. He said, "Blow me," and then signed it Feherty.
Yep, he sure did.
The best signature on the thing now.
Yep, very solid. I didn't expect that.
No.
I didn't think he was going to write "Blow me."
Out of context, it seems like maybe he didn't like us, but he liked us a lot when you listen to the interview. But he just wrote "Blow me" on the wall.
He did call us mediocre.
He called us morons
and stuff. But, I mean, none of that's inaccurate.
But he was saying that, we'll hear the interview, he's saying, I'm a moron as well, so we're all feeling like we're in the same place.
The moron boat.
The moron boat. That was it. You know what else I liked about David Feherty?
What's that?
Was his facial hair.
He's got great facial hair.
He's got great facial hair. I wonder if he uses our friends at Dollar Shave Club.
He should.
He should. Let me tell you why Dollar Shave Club is awesome. Dollar Shave Club is the smarter choice. Get a great shave at a great price, conveniently delivered right to your door. It's an awesome life hack and a no-brainer choice. You no longer have to schlep to the store to buy disposable razors that give you that cheap shave. And when I use my DSC, Dollar Shave Club, executive razor, as you can see here, I probably need to use it right now. Riggs, you look great. Your facial hair is rivaling David Feherty's.
I Dollar Shave Clubbed myself up nicely.
You sure did. It looks great. And with that, their Dr. Carver's shave butter. The blade just gently glides, giving me such a smooth shave. Their Dr. Carver's shave butter is transparent for a more precise shave, helps prevent ingrown hairs, everybody hates those, and fights razor bumps. You too can make the smarter choice by joining Dollar Shave Club. For a limited time, new members get their first month of the executive razor with a tube of their Dr. Carver's shave butter for only $5 with free shipping. After that, razors are just a few bucks a month. That's a $15 value for only $5. In your first month box, you get an awesome weighty handle, a full cassette of 4 cartridges, and a tube of their shave butter. After your first month, replacement cartridges ship automatically at their regular price. There are no hidden fees and no commitments. Cancel anytime you like. You can only get this offer exclusively at dollarshaveclub.com/4. That's Fore. That's dollarshaveclub.com/4. Go get your razors.
So we've got a monumental episode.
Yep.
This is Rob's last episode.
It's sad. It's sad time.
For me.
Sad.
Yeah, sad.
Do you
really
feel?
Sad.
How do you feel about it, Rob?
It's bittersweet, right? So we talked about I get to go on and do the stuff that I have been wanting to do for years.
Wrestling, Star Wars.
Yeah, MMA, barbaric human cockfighting, some call it.
Robbie's not even a golf guy. Riggs plucked him out of obscurity after Robbie emailed everyone at Barstool since he was 12 years old.
For decades.
Yep,
pretty much, trying to get hired. Riggs finally plucked him out. I remember the first Photoshop you ever made for Barstool, I think, was I was here in New York and the Mets, the Connor Gillespie home run, and it was Kevin's face coming out of the apple at Citi Field.
That wasn't even for Barstool. That was after Riggs told me, I'll interview you on Friday. It was a Wednesday.
Okay.
And I just threw it up on Twitter. And then I got a drunk email from Riggs that was like, bro, that was hysterical. It's like, I think I'm going to nail this interview.
Was that drunk email Riggs' voice there? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we brought him in, and he just kind of got thrown into the mix. We started this podcast. He was Riggs' guy, and it's been great so far. And then he got too big for the show.
And the show got too big for me.
So we've got our new talent coming in on Thursday. Is his first day. New guy. I expect very good things.
Yeah, we got 700 emails total for interns for Foreplay, just Foreplay. Narrowed that down to 7 people. brought them all in or did a Skype interview. This guy that we hired as our intern was the first guy we met with. He was awesome. He has a lot of the same ideas that we have. He wants to take the podcast in the directions that we want to take it. So I have high hopes for him.
So we got a new guy coming Thursday. Rob's out. See you, Rob. Smell you later.
Sad.
We played some golf this weekend. Trent and I, with a couple coworkers, Frankie Borelli and office manager Brett. On Saturday, we played Bethpage Red.
Yeah.
For those asking why we didn't play the black, we don't have enough money.
True.
A. And B, it's too early in the season, in my opinion, to go out there because I stink right now.
Yeah, you don't want to waste a bad round. And we played fine on Saturday, but you don't want to play Bethpage Black at the beginning of the year. You want to get your game going.
I want to wait. I want to get it in prime condition. I want my game to be a little sharper. But we played the red. It was nice.
Very nice. Hilly.
Very hilly. A lot of dog legs out there at the red.
Yeah.
Dog legs everywhere.
Frankie Borelli took us out there. He's a Long Island guy, so he played the red about 5 times. Said we'd have a blast doing it, and we did. We had a really good time.
We had a good match. Trent and I were 3 up early, and we ended up losing in tough fashion. We did win the press, however. Trent impressed.
Did I? Okay.
You came out hot.
My game, I did at the beginning. I was carrying the team at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I've taken a lot of slander for my golf game. People think I suck, which I don't suck. I'm not great, but I can push it out there, and we have a good time. I don't hold up the group.
No, I will say that you make significantly more consistent contact than most people would guess.
I agree, and I wish people would know that. I'm glad you're telling them that because people are like, you never hit the ball probably. I do just fine.
Yeah, so we had you play to like a 20, and I think you could have played lower than that.
I think I could have.
You could have played to like a 16 or 17 very reasonably. But anyways, shout out to Frankie and Brett. They were the better team. I stunk for a 4. I had a couple good moments. Ended up winning the press by par in 17 and 18. But other than that, I was bad.
Many a times Riggs couldn't figure out what was going wrong. He said swing was the same as it was before, and it's just not working.
Completely different result. I had a 2-way miss. Felt like I was using the same swing, and then I'd hook one. Same swing again, 30-yard slice to the right. So I was fighting it, figured it out a little bit on the back 9. Went to Borelli's afterwards.
Oh.
Frankie Borelli's family owns a restaurant for like 60 years out on Long Island. Oh.
I would say this even if I didn't know Frankie Borelli, and I do know Frankie. He's a great guy. That food, that Italian food, some of the best Italian food I've ever had. I got the chicken parm. Well, first of all, we get there, and Mr. Borelli, Frankie Borelli's dad, he greets us, open arms, shakes our hands, blah, 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 puts us right at the bar, and just plates of food start coming out. Plates and
coming
plates.
Out everywhere.
Yeah, we got pizza. We got some appetizer. I don't even know what it is. I got chicken parm. What did you get?
I got a little feta. Or no, I got tortellini Alfredo, and I got a Caesar salad. Ugh.
Yeah.
It was great. I will say you're a very full person at the end of this.
You had said it. You said it best when you said, "I'm mad at my stomach because I want to keep eating and eating and eating, but I'm so full."
Was very, very upset with my stomach when I couldn't eat anymore. I was like, dude, what do you like? Let's go here.
And then
it's a big day.
Once we ate everything, we had dessert come out, which was cannolis, cheesecake, and gelato. And some of the best cannolis I've ever had. I don't often have cannolis, but when I do, I'm reminded how spectacular they are, and they're great at Borelli's.
So it was a hell of a Saturday. I played again yesterday. I played out at Knickerbocker Club over in Jersey. Played much better. I think I started to figure out my swing. I had 3 birdies on the back 9, but finished with a double, which, I'm like, all right, I'm buzzing, and then double on like a 490-yard par 5. So that was a little frustrating. But yeah, my Blues are out. A little hockey talk. Blues have been eliminated. So it's all golf from here. We got Players' Championship this weekend, which we're going to get into towards the end of the show, as we always do. We were banned by the PGA Tour.
We were. Which
last time we were on the podcast, we told the story about how they were not happy with the video. We took it down. We probably overreacted.
Yeah, we laughed at them, called them names, told them their security stunk, things of that nature.
Yep. So they sent us an email where they were like, yeah, we're basically not working with Barstool Golf ever again.
Which is fair, I guess. And then we had one of our second floor guys who had some sort of in with the PGA Tour guy and talked him down a little bit. The guy still called us buffoons, which is true, but I think we were on better standing with them after that phone call.
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I think we're fine. I'm not too worried about anything. Again, we probably could have toned it down a little bit on the podcast. PGA Tour wasn't happy originally, then they were double not happy.
I said it on the radio. Something of this nature felt inevitable to me because our brand is kind of crazy and we do what we want even when people tell us we shouldn't do it, and that's going to butt heads with PGA Tour, which is just a huge governing body of a somewhat old and crusty sport.
We were on a collision course. We collided. That's what happens.
And everybody's fine.
That's just physics.
Yeah.
So
Little physics talk there.
yeah, little physics. You can't fight it. That's just what happens. It happened. I think we're okay. We actually are currently applying for credentials for the Players Championship.
Yeah, we're still not sure if we're going or not, but
No, we got some potential partnership deals in the works. So we might be at the Players. We might not be. We might be here covering the Players. Regardless, we'll be all over it. I'm excited.
hell yeah.
One of the top weekends of the year. Shout out to J.R. Smith, by the way.
I saw this on your list. It was really funny.
He was asked if he's because the Cavs are, I believe, 8-0. Is that right?
Yes.
In the playoffs?
I believe so.
I think so.
I
Anyways,
got no idea.
they're just toasting everybody. As is expected, asked if he's watching the other NBA playoff action. He said, "Nah, I watch the Golf Channel."
Great answer.
Solid.
After the Cavs,
Golf guy.
After the Cavs won their last title, one of the first places J.R. Smith was spotted with a T-shirt on because his big thing was he wasn't wearing a shirt after the celebration.
Right.
He was at a driving range with a shirt on, just hitting balls. J.R. Smith, a big, sneaky, big golf fan.
Golf guy. So a lot going on. Big show. Like we said, Feherty later. Top 5, top 10 gets that we could imagine. On to a little Wells Fargo Championship talk down in North Carolina. Speaking of North Carolina, or really any nice state with nice golf, if you're going there, you got to use our friends at Shipsticks. If you aren't already using Shipsticks, when you travel for your golf trips, you're starting your round a couple over. You've seen their ads on Golf Channel, on CNBC. Shipsticks picks up your clubs from your home, golf course, office, hotel, whatever's the most convenient. They deliver them directly to wherever you're staying or playing instead of lugging them to and from the airport, which absolutely sucks balls. Wasting your time at baggage claim, which also sucks balls. You just use Shipsticks to ship them ahead of time. Your clubs will be waiting for you when you arrive. I've told the story many times. Whenever I use them and I go to a golf course, they're often just waiting on the back of my cart for me, which is perfect. As the largest golf bag shipping company in the world, their prices are the lowest. They start at just $39.99, which is insane and by itself significantly cheaper than most airline checked bag fees. Pretty great combo. You eliminate all the hassle. Hassle sucks of traveling with your clubs, and you save time and you save money. All you got to do, folks, go to shipsticks.com. That's shipsticks.com. Click ship now. You'll be on your way to a hassle-free golf trip. Gets better. You enter the promo code BARSTOOL, BARSTOOL. You get 10% off your next shipment. Once again, shipsticks.com, promo code BARSTOOL for 10% off your next shipment. All right, Wells Fargo Championship. Brian Harman, a lefty.
Lefty. Rare.
A rare, non-Phil Mickelson, Bubba Watson lefty victory.
Yeah, which is cool. He won it in stylish fashion, too, with a clutch putt on 18 for to put him at 10 under.
Yeah, he birdied 17 and 18. As a fan, it's fun to watch a guy drill a 28-foot putt to win the tournament on the 72nd hole. However, it's better to watch Dustin Johnson, Pat Perez, and Brian Harman play a playoff.
Yeah, totally, because that's where we thought we were headed. Dustin Johnson posted at 9 under. That looked like he was going to win it for a while.
Yeah.
He was just going to win it. He finished early. Then Pat Perez posted a 9 under, which would have been a great playoff. We're big Pat Perez guys around here.
Yep.
So, yeah, Brian Harman winning is cool, but Dustin Johnson winning potentially his 4th start in a row after his back injury. These are air quotes. His back looked fine all week, clearly. Would have been something special. His first start since the Masters.
Yeah, so, it's you tip your cap. It was awesome. It was incredible that he had an incredible round.
Yeah.
Just in general, the course held up phenomenally. I looked, only 41 guys finished under par for a track that's not a typical PGA Tour track. It looked beautiful. There was a lot of hype going into it from some quotes from Webb Simpson that I included in a couple blogs.
Okay.
Because he plays here all the time. I think he said he's played 150 rounds. I believe he's a member. He does a buddies trip there, all that. He said that it has a very Augusta feel. I believe he even said the superintendent from Augusta, or at least one of them, came up to help out prep work for the tournament and all of that. So it was an immaculate golf course.
Yeah, and near the end there, it started, like, the leaderboard looked great. Here's the top 5 that finished. Smiley Kaufman, John Rahm, Pat Perez, Dustin Johnson, Brian Harman. Smiley was right there.
Yeah, Smiley, first top 10 of the year, of the season, finished T5. So that's our boy coming back a little bit.
Yep, he said his game's in a great spot. He was talking to Amanda Balionis in the post-game show, and he was like, my game is right where I want it to be. It's just I got to put more together. So look out for Smiley Kaufman. Patrick Reed faded, but he was right up there too, and I was hoping because you told me I pick Patrick Reed every week, even though I didn't realize it. I just need Patrick Reed to get a win, so I thought it might be this week, but he faded there at the end.
Yeah, no, he had a strong showing. I was I always like looking what these guys like Harmon gets out of this type of win. He obviously locked up a Masters invite for next year. He also, it doesn't automatically get him into the U.S. Open, but he jumped to number 52 in the official World Golf Rankings. And if you're in the top 60 on May 22nd, you get in.
Okay.
Also, shout out to our boy, Pat Perez. As you said, we're big Perez fans. I like that he speaks his mind.
I like the hair.
Love the hair. He reached number 43 in the official World Golf Rankings, which is his highest career high for both of them.
Very cool.
So great weeks for those dudes. Clearly playing a lot of good golf.
Brian Harmon cleared a cool $1.3 million from that win. That's huge. I did not think it was gonna be that high.
That would be really nice. John Rahm, who just won't quit, finished 4th. Phil with a T18. Phil, I looked. Phil has had a sneaky, solid season for someone that he hasn't really been too much in contention.
That's kind of been Phil's MO these last couple of seasons. He plays really, really well. He just doesn't win anything.
So he's got a T7 at the WGC Mexico, a T5 at the match play, T22 at the Masters, and then a T18 this week at Wells Fargo. So, I mean, those 22nd, 18th aren't the greatest finishes in the world, but, I mean, he's right up there.
Yeah.
With a little bit better weekend, he's right in contention. So, Phil, you're right. I mean, I would really like to see him turn the corner. He hasn't won since forever. I think the 2013 British Open.
I think it is. I
was
believe
his
that's
last
right.
win, which is just appalling.
For a guy like him, is crazy.
Yeah, and there's that wild stat that Tiger has won more recently than Phil. Speaking of Tiger, a little segue there. Tiger moved to number 837 in the world.
All right.
Let's go.
All right.
Yep, dropped a bunch of spots.
Looking great, bud.
So, yeah, he's all, laid up after surgery. We have to comment as well on our boy Willie Wilcox.
Oh, yeah, which we have like an inside scoop almost.
We called Willie. Talked to him this morning.
It was that easy. Yeah, it's not like it was straight from Willie.
Yeah, so I asked him, I was just like, so for those that don't know, he had a great start to the week. He was like 5 under at one point on Thursday.
I know he was 3 under through 3, and he was number one. He was number one in the tournament.
So he's tied for the lead for a while on Thursday. Ended up posting a 71, which is pretty solid. The course was playing tough. And then the second round, he he got delayed due to darkness, mid-second round, putting like dog shit. So he went home, put a new putter in the bag for the morning.
Yeah.
Ended up, the rules officials told him he's DQ'd because you can't play the same round with a different putter.
Yeah, he said, what did he say? With the putter type deal, he said he had woke up, he was still kind of in a little bit of a fog, and was just like, yeah, let's try a new putter since I'm putting like dog shit.
He said he woke up like 25 minutes before he teed off. Wasn't really thinking too clearly. He said, I had been awake 25 minutes. Another quote he said is that my caddy doesn't really know the rules. So I guess what happened was that he said he made a 10-footer on like the first hole, or one of his first holes, and he walked over to who was it, Bryce Mulder?
Yeah,
he was playing with.
Yep.
He walked over to Bryce and said, "Man, this putter feels great." Bryce was like,
"What are you talking?
about?
It should feel like the one from yesterday."
And Willie's like, "Yeah, put this new putter in the bag." Bryce like, "That's illegal."
Yeah.
And so Willie said he told the rules officials. Rules officials were like, "You're DQ'd," which ended up not being true.
That was the thing. That was what he was telling us this morning. Was right away when he said, "I put a new putter in my bag," the rules official said, "All right, you're DQ'd." So Willie picked up his ball and walked off, and started heading home.
Yep. It turns out it was a 4-stroke penalty and not a DQ, but Willie ended up just WDing anyways.
Yeah.
But we talked to him this morning. He's in good spirits on his way to a golf course. And I think his main takeaway, he said, and I quote, "As long as I'm paying the mortgage, I really don't give a shit."
Boom.
So a little Willie Wilcox update. He's been playing good golf.
He's another guy, just like Smiley, who told us he's playing great. He just needs to put more together to get himself in a win.
Yeah, if he gets his flat stick going, which he's clearly trying to do, he just needs to be a little clearer on his rules. activation
Him
there.
being like my caddy doesn't even know the rules was really funny.
It was great. So nice little chat with Willie. Hope he keeps playing well. Headlines. John Daly.
The number one headline, bigger than the Wells Fargo, in my opinion, because you got Brian Harmon winning. That's great, but John Daly winning a senior tour champion event, awesome.
This is one of those things that just anybody in the sports world grabbed onto this story yesterday, Sunday, and they were all jacked up.
Yeah, we kind of got shit on the radio today by Portnoy and KFC because like, oh, it's a Champions Tour win. It's not a real win. That's, I guess, true. But when in the John Daly,
No, it's true. It's definitely true.
it's definitely true. But in the John Daly universe, and I said it on the radio too, the whole time I've been blogging at Barstool, I've been blogging John Daly stuff, and it's been him playing late night like guitars in bars,
Right.
and him doing periscopes with the guy from one of the comedians, Ron White.
Yep.
It's like everything, nothing that substantial, but it's entertaining because it's John Daly. So when he gets a win, any sort of win, we're gonna celebrate like a motherfucker.
Absolutely, and you did.
I did.
You celebrated hard.
I went down to my local bodega. I grabbed a pack of Marlboro Reds and 20 ounces of Diet Coke, and I poured Diet Coke all over myself in front of one of my neighbors. So my roommates weren't home. I live with Coley, the guy who works here, and we live with another guy. Coley was not there. The other guy was not there, so I wandered out in front of the apartment complex with 2 Diet Cokes, a pack of Marlboro Reds, and my phone. First people that came up was a lovely young couple who also lived in the building. First time I'd ever met them, I said, hey, will you hold my phone while I smoke a cigarette and pour Diet Coke all over myself? The guy said, what? And I said, yes, that's what I said. And he said, sure. Sure enough, man, the guy held the camera like a goddamn champ. And then I tweeted out there, and it did well.
I can't decide whose celebration is better, yours or John Daly's.
It's mine.
It's got to be Trent's.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Especially just because he didn't actually win. Like, John Daly's is
Oh,
a
I
little
won.
more understandable. Trent, like, the thing asking his neighbor to do it, like, that makes it a
That
better
actually puts it
celebration.
over the top.
Me
That's
out,
right.
me out in front of an apartment complex in Brooklyn, just acting a goddamn fool was. But the celebration for John Daly was cool too. Popping champagne bottles, pouring it all over was great.
Everything about Daly's win was vintage John Daly. He was wearing American flag pants. He kissed the Arnold Palmer umbrella that they had printed on the fairway to honor the late Arnold Palmer.
Mm-hmm. He had his 5th wife running out there, her fiance coming out to celebrate with him. It was all very John Daly.
He shot a final round 69.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
Fuck.
Found that in my research.
Good
nice.
job.
Very nice. So JD back in the winner's circle. Hopefully goes on a little bit of a tear on the Champions Tour. He always gets a lot of little sponsors, exemptions on the PGA Tour as well. So him playing some good golf.
Yeah,
It's good for everybody.
He's a big draw at tournaments even before he wins. Like when I went to an event in Des Moines, Iowa when he came through, it was the biggest gallery they've had at the whole tournament because John Daly's showing up.
So it was great. A lot of good content for us. JD is the man. He just seems like the most genuine dude in the world.
Yeah, and you're right. When JD does well, then we do well too because we can celebrate him and it's fun.
So keep playing well, John Daly.
As a guy that's met John Daly once in my life, he is a very genuine guy. I met him while we were at a little golf tournament a few months ago.
Yeah, just outside the Hooters, right?
Correct. me and Dave Portnoy. He
Couple of
told us
name
that-
drops there for Rob.
He told us that he loved Pat McAfee because Pat McAfee's allowed to curse on the radio,
Okay.
which is what we do too.
It's true.
It's true.
The whole,
So he would love us.
the whole Barstool Network does that.
I doubt he knows much about us in general. Grayson Murray
Oh boy.
fired his caddy mid-round yesterday in the final round of the Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Had enough of this guy.
I'm done with Grayson Murray. I wrote a blog about it a couple weeks ago when he tweeted something very creepy at a high school girl saying, it's too bad you're in high school. You're very pretty. Hey, Grayson Murray, shut the fuck up. You just get away from Twitter. And this is what he'll do. He'll go on these Twitter rants. He'll be like, if you don't want to hear this stuff, don't follow me, which is fine. But he's such a train wreck. It's one of those deals where you have to watch it.
Yep.
And then the people who tell him that he's being an idiot, he'll just call them libtards and like move on.
He's the worst. I was kind of drawn to him at first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, outspoken PGA Tour guy. Sure, he fires from the hip.
He tried to get a date with your now enemy, Lindsay Palos. Remember that? I think you
Yep.
blogged that.
Well, he asked her basically like, "Will you be my caddy for the Masters Par 3 contest?"
Oh,
If I make
yeah.
it into the Masters, she was like, "Sure." He obviously didn't make it, which goes to my main point here, which is that this guy's gotten into it with a bunch of other tour golfers about the official world golf ranking system around match play time. He was like chirping other guys that got into it because they played tournaments on different tours and this and that. Buddy, be better at golf. He missed 8 of the first 11 cuts this season.
Yeah, if he just plays better, then he can say whatever he wants.
Now, he's made 4 cuts since then, but it's not like he's lighting it up. He's out there bitching, complaining about this, about that. Dude, you can't have that big of a mouth and stink on the tour.
Right. And the thing about having a big mouth, it happens all the time. So all the evidence leans towards Grayson Murray being an idiot. Like if he tweeted a stupid thing once or twice, it's like, hey, everybody makes mistakes. Every single tweet of his is idiotic. And it's not only idiotic, but it's unnecessary. He's yelling at these Twitter eggs like, dude, don't worry about the Twitter eggs. Just go play golf.
Yeah, he's a wild card. He's a clown. I'm over him. Again, I wanted to like him at first, but he's just gone too far for me. This caddy, Mike Hicks, that he fired too, huge veteran caddy. He was on the bag for Payne Stewart when he won the 1999 U.S. Open. So legend. The guy just fires him mid-round. So he's kind of a train wreck. If that was a little player feelings, fuck Grayson Murray.
That was player feelings. Grayson Murray, we do not like you.
Yep. Also, we're going to move on to Dottie Pepper.
Oh.
She had an interesting week last week.
She did have an interesting week, and she got run off of Twitter. It was so interesting.
Yeah, so Scott Brown, who lost in the playoff last week, she had a bunch of fuck-ups in the post-playoff interview with him. You know, I think she said something along the lines of like, oh, what's it like to be in contention for a PGA Tour event for the first time? The guy won the 2013 Puerto Rico Open. So, like, he's been in contention before. I also think he finished earlier in the year, like, second somewhere. Yep. So he's been in contention plenty. She got shit on for that. Then kind of tried to double down and came off as, like...
She's, like, condescending.
Kind of a condescending sour pants. Anyways, deleted Twitter.
Gone.
And then said it was due to the, quote, trolls and idiots, which I believe is a direct reference to us.
Yes. But the thing is, I never tweeted directly at her or anything. It's just I tweeted one thing about, I don't even remember what it was, something about she appeared on my TV when it was supposed to be another golf commentator, and I did the You're Not Ron from Anchorman.
Yep.
And she must have searched her name and found me and blocked me. So, I mean, as much as here's the thing about Dottie Pepper. I think she's objectively bad at her job. And I think that's how a lot of people feel, and I think she has seen that.
Yep.
So then when she really fucks up, she never really fucked up before, but she's very awkward in her interviews. There's a lot of dead air, and it's weird. So as soon as she really screws up with these Scott Brown mix-ups, I guarantee people were going hard at her on Twitter. She couldn't take it, so she bailed.
Yep. Completely agree. So, yeah, I mean, it's always funny when they can't handle it. Like when she fucks up and then just can't handle it on Twitter. Like you have to delete your Twitter? What?
Yeah, just don't look at those mentions.
Just be mentally tougher. That's it. Like pretty straightforward. You should see my mentions.
Oh our mentions are terrible.
Yeah. So be tougher. We're tougher. You can be tough. And she's older. She's seasoned. She's been in the game forever. How could she not handle it?
Clearly she can't. And again, that's a win for me. She no longer officially blocks me because she's not on Twitter.
Ian Poulter put up a wild Instagram last week.
Yeah, I should have pulled that up so we could read it, but it was...
I have it.
Oh, you do?
He put... I mean, there's a lot on
You don't
here.
have to read the whole thing.
I'm not going to read the whole thing. He kind of does, like, on a good note, this, and then goes into a huge thing about what's bad about it. He says, the sad part of social media are when people take objection to what you post. Spare 1 second and think to yourself, if you take offense to my post when you are probably following the wrong person. If you don't like what I post, please unfollow. Go follow someone else's. I'm extremely happy to block any negative comments. I actually enjoy blocking the sad individuals.
What a
fucking loser this guy is. Look, the reason people take objection and offense to your post is because you go out of your way to get people fired that are just normal good dudes. You bitch about your nanny getting held up and your wife is going to have to deal with the kids on her own, which is what every family has to deal with.
It's called being a parent.
You bitch about your Ferraris not being delivered perfectly, all this shit. Of course we're going to take offense and objection with that. Those are crazy, crazy, tone-deaf comments that you make on your social media. We follow you because you're a star. You make millions of dollars because people like us follow you and are interested in what you do. So take a little ownership and don't be such an asshole when you post.
Agreed on all of those. He also said, I know my social media is not golf, 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 and I like to share the other parts of my life with fans, and I know the fans like that. Not true. The other things he shares are his Ferrari collections, which, I mean, you can be the biggest Ferrari fan in the world. I don't want to see some pompous asshole showing off his Ferraris. And then the other things are his private jets. He's like, oh, I'm on my private jet. Again, I don't want to see that either. So all of his social media stinks, and I don't really get to see much of it anymore because he blocked me on Twitter. But, yeah, be able to take the heat a little bit, and you're taking that heat because you are an asshole.
Yeah, and he's got the cardigan, so he's not going away. We're going to have plenty of Ian Poulter to talk about in the future. Now, next up, our interview with the one, the only legend, David Feherty. Good stuff. People are going to love it. We love to have him in the office. It's Feherty time.
This interview with David Feherty is brought to you by our friends over at Wilson Golf. They are doing a U.S. Open sweepstakes that is currently in progress. It ends May 13th. All eyes will be on Erin Hills this June as golf's national championship heads to Wisconsin for the first time in the U.S. Open's illustrious history, and Wilson Golf is giving you the chance to cross another item off your bucket list. It's super easy to enter. Just visit wilson.com/D300sweeps and sign up. You'll automatically be entered for a chance to win 2 tickets to the 2017 U.S. Open limited edition patriotic Wilson Staff D300 irons, a VIP tour of Wilson's headquarters in Chicago, along with flights, transportation, and accommodation to all taken care of. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a hell of a package that the good folks at Wilson Golf have put together. The U.S. Open is one of those sporting events that you just have to see in person, and Wilson Golf wants to get you there. And if that isn't enough, these irons, the winner will take home, are really badass. Keep an eye on our Instagram account. That's at ForePlayPod on Instagram, where we'll be showcasing them very soon. What are you waiting for? Get to wilson.com/D300sweeps. That's wilson.com/D300sweeps. That's D like Danny, 300 sweeps, SWEEPS, to find out more and sign up. It could mean winning a once-in-a-lifetime trip.
All right, now we are joined in studio by a legend in the golf world, in the TV golf world, somebody we're very excited to have in, David Feherty. David, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Very excited to have David in the house.
Trent and I are big fans. We've been trying to get you in for a while, talking with our boy Jeff and all that. So yeah, thanks for hopping in. Let's start off with the show. We'll kind of get right into it. For those that don't know, I'm sure most of our listeners do. Feherty, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays. Big season. It's the 7th season. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
We've got Hale Irwin. We've also had this season, we had Matthew McConaughey, who's great. We had Phil Mickelson, all that. What's your favorite part about doing the show?
I think my favorite part is just finding out things about people. You know, everyone has a preconceived notion of guests or people in the public eye. You know, you read it in newspaper or you hear it on a podcast or you see it on TV. You think you know who they are, and then when you find out that maybe that's not quite, there's something different about them.
Yeah, and I feel like you almost paved the way a little bit television-wise for what we try to do with the podcast, which is, it's a little bit more colorful way to look at golf and to talk to people. Do you feel like, your personal connection with a lot of the people in the golf world has helped the show a lot?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I ask questions from a position of weakness. People know that my life has been pretty screwed up, and it's up, it's down, it's sort of real. So yeah, I mean, I think it helps.
No, I think that's the most endearing part about it. People know your story. People know all about it. And like Riggs was saying with our podcast, people come away from the podcast, people that listen to it, and they say, oh, I didn't realize that guy was like that, and now I like him 10 times more. And I think that's kind of what you've done with your show. It's a very relaxed atmosphere.
Right. Well, thanks. I mean, that's what I'm looking for, or I like that guy, until he was on your show, and now I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We come from a point of weakness, too, because we're just idiots, so it's very relatable.
I can see that. Yeah, this is my demographic.
I would imagine you could tell right when you walked in.
I'm comfortable. Yeah, the minute I walked in through the door here.
What's the most challenging part of doing the show?
The travel. I'm not Jay Leno. They don't come to me. I go to them.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And sometimes they're in. I went to Dardanelle, Arkansas for John Daly. There's no regular commercial flight in there.
JD with his first win since 2004.
Yeah.
What were your feelings on JD finally breaking through again?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. It's great for the old guys out there as well. He's always been kind of a breath of fresh air. Mm-hmm. Sort of warm, damp fresh air maybe. But
He's another one of those guys that's kind of our demographic, we feel like.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
Who's your favorite guest so far?
On the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, people ask me that all the time. It's really hard. I've had so many great people on there, Samuel Jackson and, some of my favorite, Fuzzy Zeller and Fore presidents. Bill Russell, one of the great, maybe the greatest winner in the history of American sports. Matthew McConaughey. Phil Mickelson was fantastic.
Phil was great. We, I actually recently I was texting with Jeff, who, for those who don't know, is kind of the PR guy, our Golf Channel connection.
First time we've ever had a PR guy in the room where it's official podcasting.
It's better than an HR guy.
Yeah,
True.
right. I just keep waiting for him to pull the plug. Yeah. No, this is not going to work.
Robbie's in here too, just breaks Robbie's neck. That'd be good.
But Phil, even that, because Phil's he comes off, very open with the media. He's very fun with the media. But even still, for a 2-part show and all that, you're still able to break through and kind of get to a lot of things inside of Phil that other people necessarily aren't, I feel like.
Yeah, well, he's such an interesting guy, and the way his mind works, I've been following him for 20 years on the golf course, and I thought I had a good handle on it. No, not so much. I had no idea. He's watching a movie only he can see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes him so interesting. And again, to speak to your credit, that's what makes the show so interesting is somebody like that you feel like and you come out of the show being like, I'm even a bigger Phil fan than I was before.
What were your initial thoughts when you walked in the leather jacket?
Yeah, the leather jacket was kind of, anybody got a pack they need leading, or, as the old that commercial, insurance commercial. Yeah, it's a different look, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that he commented on his own fashion sense, too. I was like, does he know what's going on?
I was wearing a particularly bad jacket as well, though, so I'm not really in a position to criticize.
So let's go back. Let's talk about your playing career a little bit.
Jeez.
5 European Tour wins. You obviously played in the 91 Ryder Cup, which is maybe one of the most famous Ryder Cups of all time. You don't strike us as the kind of guy, when you win an event, to have boring winning stories. What's your craziest winning story?
Jeez. Winning story. Well, I won the Scottish Open in '86, which is the oldest trophy in professional golf, and I lost it within 2 hours of the prize giving, and it hasn't been found yet.
How did you lose it?
Well, I went to a Led Zeppelin concert that night with the trophy, which seemed like genius at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But, in Glasgow, there are... my original manager was... He had been a roadie for Led Zeppelin in the 70s, back in the suitcases full of money days. We managed to get backstage, and I woke up 2 days later.
No way.
Yeah, in the ferns to the left of the 16th tee at Glen Eagles, like a dead red stag, and no trophy, no recollection of. It was just 2 days of my life that I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm kind of proud.
I was gonna say there's some
Yeah.
fun to be had in there for sure.
Probably good there's no social media back then, because that would have been a whole.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Would have been a whole thing.
I think there may have been a goat involved, but I'm.
Just a goat mixed in.
Its details are sketchy.
Might have been a lot of things involved.
Yeah.
So 91, War by the Shore in Kiowa. Do you feel like, with all the crowd got really contentious, even the player interactions, all of that, you were playing in this, it's your first debut in the Ryder Cup. Do you feel like that was kind of a turning point for the Ryder Cup in terms of the kind of the vibe and the atmosphere it has now?
Oh, yeah. I think there's no question that 91 was 89. There was Azinger and Seve who got into it at the Belfry, and it kind of turned a little contentious there. But there was the enormous, the partisanship. There was the European crowd singing "Ole, ole, ole." Shut up, Jesus Christ! That is just the most annoying. I hate the word to that song.
Yeah.
And USA, USA. It was the sort of like cheering backwards and forwards. Corey Pavin and Steve Pate were wearing Desert Storm ball caps. There was a lot of patriotism. I remember we flew in the European team on Concorde into Charleston. And I didn't have a sense of the size of the event I was involved in until we were rolling down the tarmac in Charleston. And I looked out the window. I'm sitting beside Sam Torrance, my greatest friend. And there were people hanging off the fences at the airport. lined up all the way. And I said to him, I had no idea this event was this big. He said, they're here to see the airplane, you dickhead. Yeah.
Yeah, and we know David Feherty, especially our generation, a lot of our demographic that listens to our show as, the commentator, the TV show host, all of that. What was David Feherty, the player, like?
God, I was an angry human being. I never got comfortable as a player, and I was decent. I was never going to be one of the top echelon players. I just didn't have the work ethic, and I didn't want to be in that place where I knew I was going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I knew I was capable of it. I had a couple of chances to win majors and sort of backed off, not deliberately, but when I look back in my career, I know that subconsciously I didn't want that. There was always a putt on the back nine where if I'd made it, I would have had a really good chance. I always missed that one.
Did you know that at the time, or was it looking back where you finally realized
Looking back, with retrospect and having observed so many other players and seen players who've won major championships that only found out afterwards that they didn't want to be there. You have to want to be in a place where you're going to be uncomfortable, and I was always comfortable with my head just below that level.
So 97, you decide, I'm going to retire, I'm going to go into broadcasting, to commentating full time. What was the biggest challenge in that transition? And, did you, I feel like with your personality, with your wit, you kind of always had to know this is something I could do.
Yeah, I was in a bar at the World Series. I'd won a tournament in some communist country. I can't remember where. And I was approached by two guys, one of whom said, we're with CBS. And I thought, shit, 60 Minutes. And I
Here
did.
they come.
I thought this will be some fearless expose on drugs in sport or alcoholism on tour.
What the hell am I going to say?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But it turns out that, they wanted to, they'd seen that I sucked. I was in the middle of a horrific divorce at the time and just, drinking like a halibut. And, there's a stash of pills in my hotel room. I'd got into Vicodin in a big way, that kind of thing. And, wasn't in good shape at all, emotionally or physically or anything. And when they offered me the job, initially I was 36 years old. I thought, if I get through that particularly hard period in my life, that I might have some golf left in me, which I said, and then they told me how much they were going to pay me. I said, would you like to buy a set of clubs?
It would have been a hell of a 60 Minutes.
Yeah, it might have been actually, yeah. Yeah. And it could be yet. You never know.
I was going to say.
Yeah, because that's the thing that stays with you,
Sure, certainly.
I'm not cured.
So which one do you enjoy more?
What, Vicodin or alcohol?
Yes.
You mean playing or broadcasting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, broadcasting. Yeah. I didn't want to be in that place where I knew I was going to be uncomfortable in the playing side. I don't mind it. In broadcasting, I feel much more at home, a creature in a more natural habitat here.
So you said, or we already talked about, playing in the Ryder Cup '91. Last year, you're covering the Ryder Cup. What's the big, what's the big difference? What was kind of your approach going in, being on the other side of it?
Well, I was on the other side in a couple of ways. When I played, I was a European, and as a broadcaster, I'm an American.
Yeah.
And I believe that as an American, you pledge allegiance to the flag and anybody who fights underneath it, whether they're a sports team or the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or Coast Guard. So, I'm an American Ryder Cup supporter, which doesn't go down well with my former teammates.
I was going to say.
Yeah. But that's the way that it is, and if it pisses off Colin Montgomery, so be it.
Perfect. That's our thought.
I like that you went all in, though. You can't then root for it. Yeah, I love that.
No, I still like to see the Europeans do well, and I watched Sergio Garcia grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I love to see him win the Masters and that sort of thing. But when it comes to the Ryder Cup, I'm an American.
Yeah. So 2010, you became naturalized citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Were you like, fuck yes, I'm in?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Oh, absolutely. I'd been to Baghdad and Iraq and Afghanistan, and I needed to be an American.
Yeah, and you've received awards for how great you are with the troops, how supportive you are of the troops. We've got a couple guys that we work with. Our boy Connor, our boy Uncle Chaps. One's an Army vet, the other one's Purple Heart recipient. So we're, big time pro troops, pro military. What is it about, the U.S. military that gets you going so much?
Well, I grew up in an urban warfare environment in Northern Ireland in the 60s and 70s, and when 9/11 happened here, and we started to get terrorist attack. I mean, I just couldn't bear the thought of it being here. This place is supposed to be safe from that kind of thing. Having seen so much of it as a child, I couldn't believe that at the time our military, or your military at the time, was getting such a hard time from the media, whether it was the press or the coverage was so negative. I thought, they're fighting a war, an enemy that won't wear a uniform, that hides behind women and children. And I was familiar with that. So I wanted to see it for myself. I went to Baghdad with the USO to start with, and I couldn't believe the restraint that our kids show. Which is never reported. The times where they don't pull the trigger, the times where they show such compassion, for the local population, and the effort that was being made to rebuild and to do the right thing, and it occurred to me that we are, or you were at the time, and now I'm part of, the greatest force for good in the world. We are the greatest nation in the world, no matter what anybody on cable channels wants to say about it. We do more good than any other country, and I wanted to be a part of it.
I will say that we are very happy to have you.
Yeah, he's getting me all jacked up with this
USA
USA
me too.
talk.
I'm going to go enlist right now.
Yeah.
Well, jacked up. So moving into a little bit more, specifics on broadcasting. Like I said, we're idiots. We don't really understand a lot of things. When you're out there, you're trying to stay, or you do an incredible job of staying kind of out of the picture, yet you're always, you're running up, you're checking out lies, you're getting club selection. How tricky is that, navigating those waters?
Well, the caddies are a huge help. If you need to have a good relationship with caddies, and I always did. I've been a professional golfer now for 42 years, and the caddies are kind of the lifeblood of the game. I always relied on them, not for any information on the golf course when I was a player, more for stuff.
What kind of stuff, David?
Jeez, I mean, stuff that was difficult to get anywhere else. There's a sort of a subculture where caddies have changed the same way players have. They're much more serious, much more professional than they used to be. They don't live in hedges anymore, and they're not complete soup victims. That's the electric soup,
right?
But there's still some great characters out there, and if you keep a decent relationship with them, I mean, I like to be 50 yards away where I can talk in a normal tone of voice, and I'm spending less time on the golf course as a walker these days. I'm in the tower more, and I kind of miss being down there with them because they'll flash me hand signals, what club it is, and I can talk to them on the way up, how their players feeling or whatever. They really are the kind of the fountain of knowledge.
What's the most emotional you've gotten inside the ropes as kind of a on-course reporter or commentator, whatever you want to call it? One thing that comes to mind for me, I'll never forget the 2010 PGA at Whistling Straits when you were up there in the bunker with the fans after DJ had taken the penalty for grounding his club, and you were fired up.
That was just the worst ruling in the history of golf. That was so not a bunker. It never was a bunker, and even if it had been, it would have been trampled out. The edge where the edge of the bunker was no longer, clear. So. Yeah, I was pretty fired up about that. I also, got fired up with Rory, who I watched grow up as well, and it was I was the assistant pro at the golf club. He was, or his mum and dad were a member of, at Hollywood.
Yep.
21 years before he was born. He's a little bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Watching him win his first major, and as well as he's played, it's difficult to remain objective at times, especially if you're on the ground with him. It's like, go on, son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people like it more when you're not objective, especially about stuff like that. That's what makes you the best.
Yeah, and that's what we try to bring is that, it's okay to root for certain people. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have to have a certain level of objectivity for sure, but I think it's okay to lean one way or the other. Mm-hmm. We're always very careful at the Olympics, at NBC. We talked about the Americans, not us.
Right.
That's the sort of thing where you draw the line there. But having said that, I think that people knew in who we were pulling for.
Definitely.
You covered 19 Masters. Which one do you think was the greatest to cover?
The first one.
Yeah.
97, won by 12. And then Phil's first win, was it 2004?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a special moment when Phil won. I mean, obviously, Tiger winning by 12. Anytime a 21-year-old wins the Masters, that's phenomenal. When they win by 12, it's incredible. When a black 21-year-old wins by 12, that's just freaking hysterical.
And that was your first one, which is crazy.
Yeah.
The 2004 one with Phil, he talks about it, and I think it was on your show where he was like, I knew I was going to win.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I think everybody else was like, there's no way he's going to win.
Yeah, we think he's going to lose. Yeah, again.
And it's almost impossible not to. It's like, of course he's going to miss. So we got to ask about the fanny pack that you carry around. What goes into it?
Well, there's a bunch of batteries that heat up to about 150 degrees, and I got to tell you that the sweat doesn't flow upwards in between your shoulder blades.
Nope.
Yeah. No, you can get a bad case of catty ass out there with that thing around your waist.
So I'm sliding David a picture right now. This is from the 90s.
Yeah.
He's got a fanny pack, and you've got your watch hooked on to the side of it.
Yeah.
It's quite a look.
Never seen that move before.
Yeah, that's like, please, God, make this end.
Is that a cry for help?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well,
that watch was given to me by the Crown Prince of Brunei. It's one of only, I think, 4 of them in the world. And I tried to get it valued for insurance purposes, and people still up to this day have no idea what the hell it's worth.
No way.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's a hell of a watch then. So we're going to give you a little taste of your own medicine at the end here.
Oh, dear.
A little rapid fire.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I wanted to tell you that special moment with Phil in 2004.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whenever he went through 15, normally I would shin down that pole like a fireman and head for McDuffie Field, where a friend of mine had a private airplane. I hadn't seen a Masters finish except the first one, Tiger.
Because your work's done, you're out of there.
I'm out of there, before the crowd. But there was something about that when Phil went through the 16. We just hauled the tarps down, and I watched the monitor. But I happened to look out, and when Phil got to the 18th hole, now obviously you got 40,000 people in there. They can't all get around the 18th green. And from the 15th tower, you can see all around the golf course. There were a couple of hundred people underneath each tower, and complete silence. Whatever, and our cameraman had turned their big hard cameras up toward the air, so the viewfinder was pointing down, a little 4x6 black and white viewfinder, and these 200 people were 20 feet below watching television on the viewfinder because they couldn't get close, and there were these little pockets of them out all over the golf. It was surreal.
Jeez.
If I'd been able to take a panoramic shot of it would have been one of the most unusual master shots of all time.
And this was how you captured it as well, or you saw it?
Yeah, I watched it on my little sort of 8x10 monitor, which is, luxury is color. But there was a sense around the grounds then that it's actually going to happen. And it was the most tense, I think, it's ever been there. You get some tremendous moments of tension, but that was, it might actually happen.
So I have to tell you a quick story. It's a little bit of a weird story, but it was 2007 PGA in Southern Hills in Tulsa, and Tiger shot a great round Saturday to get himself, I think, a tie for the lead or in the lead. And we're from St. Louis, so my brother and I grabbed tickets. We drive down, and we're huge Feherty fans. It was, I don't know if you remember, it was like 106 degrees.
Oh, it's the hottest I've ever been in my life.
Humid, hot as hell. So we get a couple holes up. We've got a little bit of a spot. I think it was on 13 or 14, one of the fairways. And we get ahead of Tiger, finally comes through, and you come buzzing by. You stop right in front of us, and you chugged a Gatorade in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You threw the bottle down on the ground. My brother dove under the ropes, grabbed the Gatorade bottle and still has it.
Oh, that's pitiful.
Okay, I was hoping that was going to be his response.
That is pitiful.
He loves it. He's like, this is David Feherty's Gatorade bottle from the 2007
His
PGA.
DNA is on it. That's terrible.
Who knows what's on it, but he's got it.
God knows what's on it. I remember it was so hot that week. I had a little chafe going, and by
Sure.
Sunday, my ass looked like the Japanese flag. It was. I could feel my heartbeat in it.
I'm glad you remember that because it was hot as all hell.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, so we'll finish with rapid fire,
Okay.
just as you do. We're going to start with one. This one's for our little producer over here, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Is lemon lime Gatorade yellow or green?
Oh, it's green-ish.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
Big win for
Upset.
Rob there.
Huge win.
Wow. He's going to be talking
That
about that forever.
just made my week.
Congrats, Rob.
All right, next one. What do you call it when you leave a party or a bar or social event without saying goodbye?
The Irish goodbye.
Yes.
I'm a big Irish exit guy. It's a tough loss. I'm 0-2 right now.
I'm 2-0.
You also do that when you're at home, when you've got guests over
Oh.
at a dinner party.
Yeah.
And I would just go to bed.
No way.
Yeah, let's go to bed, dear, so these people can go home.
That's a
You
great
know,
move.
I like that.
That's
move
the
too.
Irish goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it footsie or footsies?
Oh, it's footsie,
Yes.
That's a win.
singular.
That's
Okay.
a win. Is it play catch or have a catch when you're going out?
Oh, to play catch. Yeah.
Yes.
That's another win for me. Will Phil ever win a U.S. Open?
I'd say yes. I think he's got, 3 or 4 great shots before he gets to 50, and he thinks he will, which is the important.
He definitely thinks he will.
Yeah.
You love curling, the sport of curling.
Oh, yes.
Our head tech guy, who we do and do not like, also loves curling. Why do you love curling so much?
Well, I think because you can get hammered and yell at a rock, which is very similar to golf when you look at it.
True.
In that way. I mean, your purist curling fan may not agree with me, but that's because they're a purist fan and I don't like them.
I like that answer.
Yeah, we're not big purist fans. We're not big purist fans.
Yeah.
Right.
Last one. I think this is the last one, right, Trent?
Yep.
Who would win in a fight, Johnny Miller or Brandel Chambly?
Wow. That might be. Are we talking a battle of wits or a physical thing?
Both.
I think it might be a tie. Yeah, a really pointless tie. One of those things. It would be a nasty bitch slap. Yeah, I'm not sure. No, I think a tie. It'd be hard to pick a winner on that one.
Fair.
Johnny would play the age card.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and he would talk about how many times he won, all that.
Mm.
So I think that's it. Trent, you have anything else?
No, I think that wraps up the rapid fire. It's the last thing we do.
For another quick plug, Feherty, unbelievable golf insight into many, many different people. Hale Irwin this week, Phil, Matthew McConaughey, Condoleezza Rice, I believe, this season as well.
Yeah, Steph Curry next Monday.
Steph Curry
Whoa,
next Monday,
yeah.
9 p.m. Eastern on Golf Channel. David Feherty, we're big fans. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Nice to be here, boys. Congratulations on all that you're doing, as mediocre as it is.
Really appreciate
That's
that.
the highest compliment we can get.
Means a lot.
That is, remember, you have to want to be in a place where you know you're going to be uncomfortable.
Yep.
There's comfort in mediocrity.
Yes.
Just stay below the surface.
You
That's
just
the key.
Keep that bar really low. That's
So at least we can get underneath it.
Exactly.
High enough to where we can get underneath it.
That's right where we like to live, right in the sweet spot.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
That interview with Feherty, as well as this next segment from the gallery, is brought to you also by our friends at the Normal brand. Shopping stinks. I'm not good at it. I don't know what I'm looking for. You go into these stores, you get all kinds of wild stuff in there. Pink polos, all kinds of wild shorts. I just want normal clothes for a normal dude. That's what the Normal brand does for us. Fits great. Their stuff's super comfortable. Clothes that I actually want to wear instead of just trying to make a decision between looking good or feeling good, feeling comfortable. You get both. I wear them every day. They sent me all kinds of stuff. I got some collared shirts, some nice kind of casual T-shirts. I even got a nice bag from them. Their stuff's great. Like I said, it's incredibly comfortable. It's all my new favorite stuff. You walk into a store, you think, who are these clothes made for? There's a lot of weird preppy stuff, as I mentioned. You don't want that. You want normal clothes for a normal guy. That's what we wear. That's what you get at the Normal brand. I wear the Normal brand because it's comfy, because I look good, because I look phenomenal. Whether it's a button-down, a polo, a Henley, a T-shirt, a hat, I'm wearing the Normal brand every single day. You can start your summer off looking good, feeling good by picking up some new clothes at thenormalbrand.com. You can get 15% off your order at thenormalbrand.com when you use our code FORE, F-O-R-E. That is thenormalbrand.com. Enter FORE for 15% off your order. Again, they're comfortable. I wear them every day. Normal, better shirt, new favorite shirts, everything. It's phenomenal. Normal brand. Go to it. The Normal Brand, a better normal shirt. And that, my friends, was David Feherty.
What a guy. Bucket list type stuff. Just meeting David Feherty. Been following him for years. I wanted to tell him this, and I forgot to, so I'll say it now. I wanted to tell him that he was the voice of 2007 Tiger Woods golf to me, and that I played more rounds of that than I've done of anything in my life. So very special. I forgot to tell him that. That was a missed opportunity. But everything else was great.
That was like for me when you said I'm not really a golf guy, but I am a Tiger Woods PGA video game guy. And that was like when Feherty came out, I'm like, he's the fucking video game voice.
His voice is almost more Feherty in everything that we recorded, the videos that we did, and the podcast than it is on TV and everything.
We shot a video with him, which is, if you're listening to this, it's probably up now, so go check that out. It's when he talks over, it's surreal. It's David Feherty. You've heard that voice for years, and then he's standing next to you, and you're talking to him, and what a cool day that was.
The only big mistake he made that makes me think he may be a dumb person is that he called yellow Gatorade green.
Big mistake.
So that was a stunning moment.
Rob, unfortunately, was in the room for that, and he was excited.
Fist pumping his little twerpy arms off left and right.
I really wish Rob we had already gotten rid of him, and I wish our new guy was in here for that.
Yeah.
But, that was a big win for Robbie Fox.
He said, oh, it's got a green tint.
Oh, not a bad Feherty there, Rob.
It's great.
All right, on to From the Gallery, everybody's favorite segment. Send us stuff. Foreplay at barstoolsports.com is the email. We love getting From the Gallery submissions. Y'all are pretty funny. You're pretty interesting. You got some good stuff. Send it to us. We're going to start off. We got a couple stories today, Trent.
Yep.
This guy says, I worked at a private golf course for a long time. Each year we do inventory of the rental and demo golf clubs. Before inventory a couple years ago, I stole a white TaylorMade R11. At the time, this was the Pinnacle driver on tour. I think we remember that, the white R11. Everybody was rocking it. 1 week later, shot my best 18-hole round with the driver. 2 weeks after that, my car was hit while it was parked in front of my house by a massive GMC Yukon. Those things are massive.
Those things are huge.
Trunk was crushed. I ran outside and remembered that my clubs were in the trunk. Slowly and carefully pulled out all my clubs one by one. I pulled out every club when I realized the R11 was snapped in half and destroyed completely. The only club that didn't make it, I told the insurance company that my club was destroyed. They said they would provide reimbursement for it if I provided a receipt. Clearly didn't have one. I have never shot a better round of 18 holes in my life.
Hey, that's karma, motherfucker.
That's karma.
I mean, come on.
Don't steal.
Yeah, that's the lesson.
Or, dude, go buy a fucking R11.
Yeah, if you're so cheap that you can't even buy one. But the real lesson here is don't steal.
Don't steal and karma.
Don't steal if you don't want your car to then be rammed by a massive GMC Yukon that snaps your club. Because that's that's the devil tempting you. Being like, I'm going to let him shoot his best round, and then I'm going to snap that club in half.
Yep. So yeah, I like to include this one, like you said, because karma. Everyone needs to hear a nice karma lesson every now and then. This is one. Don't steal, and you won't have something that you cherish stolen from you.
And you know what? Even if he bought a new R11, in the back of his mind, the whole time he'd probably be thinking, "This isn't the one that I shot.
Right one.
This isn't the one. This isn't the one." So he'll never shoot a better round because of karma, like you said.
Yep, that's correct.
Sorry, pal.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for.
Probably not what you were looking for there.
All right, next one. Oh, this is a good one. You picked this one out. It's a Bubba Watson story. You had your Billy Horschel story last week, yes?
I sure did.
Where, our opinions are being confirmed by some of the listeners out there. So this one is Bubba Watson, my arch nemesis. Here we go. He says, well, let me tell you about Bubba Watson. He is an absolute asshole in real life. I work at a golf course in Connecticut, a town over from ESPN. ESPN had Bubba come over to reshoot his iconic wedge shot from the Masters for a commercial. Normally when a pro comes to a course, they will introduce themselves to the green superintendent and the club pro. Well, not Bubba. This asshole had the van drive him out to the course. He stepped out and filmed his shot, climbed back into the van, and left. He did not talk to one person who works there and never introduced himself to the pro or green superintendent. Bubba has no class and is a complete asshole on and off the course, so fuck him. I hope he loses every tournament he plays in. Love the podcast. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, so look, maybe Bubba's just on his way. He didn't want to say hi to everyone. I don't really know. What I love is this guy's passion. The things that he put in there just says, so fuck him. I hope he loses every tournament he plays in is incredible. The hate that this guy might have more hate for Bubba Watson than we do.
It sounds like it, but I will go back and say, and what you said is right, maybe Bubba's off, he's doing something. But if you're Bubba Watson, this just shows his lack of self-awareness because he has to know the rep that he has right now, as we sit here.
He's got to.
Where it's, you are an asshole and everyone thinks you are, even though you put on this fake image where you're the good old boy and you do trick shots and you say thank you.
The fact that he still thinks the trick shot thing is in is insane to me.
Not only the fact that he still thinks the trick shot thing is in, because some of the shots that he does is cool, the fact that he still says thank you means he has the most yes men surrounding him that have ever surrounded any professional athlete.
It's nuts.
Because anytime he posts something like that, everything under it is like the thank you. Just stop saying thank you. You're not thanking it. You're not. Who are you thanking?
Not us.
Not us.
Definitely wouldn't thank us. We haven't done anything nice to him.
So for Bubba to just have this van, it's kind of funny though. Have him just drive straight up to the shot. He gets out, hits it, and gets back in the van. That's pretty funny. It'd be funny for about any other golfer, except Bubba, who needs to realize that this is gonna make me look like an idiot and an asshole, and that guy is gonna send an email into Foreplay, and he's gonna put him on blast.
You never know where those foreplay guys are, Bubba. So clean it up.
And if our interactions with people at golf courses, they're everywhere. Those Foreplay people everywhere.
They are everywhere. It's stunning how the foreplay crowd is out there in places you would never guess. Last one we got from the gallery, somebody asked a simple question. Obviously, there was a lot of excitement about the Zurich Classic, the team format, where they did alternate shot 2 days and best ball 2 days. So this guy asked, foreplay guys' thoughts on a two-man scramble event.
I think I like that a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I could see there's going to be a stigma against it because scramble instantly is like, like Monday corporate event drinking shit show vibe.
Yep.
But two-man scramble, I think, would be awesome. There's a lot of pressure. You get 2 looks at every putt, so you basically got to birdie every hole.
Yeah.
Which would be, if the guy misses a 10-footer in front of you, you're feeling a ton of pressure on every hole because every hole you got to make birdie on every hole.
You have to. And what I would say in the bigger picture, so the Zurich Classic did this experiment where they did the two-man event, and it went over like gangbusters.
Yep.
So if you could just have some tournament that doesn't get as much hype, as much play throughout the season, and they grab, because you don't necessarily want to copy everybody, but if you do a two-man scramble event, that's going to make headlines, and people are going to be interested in that event.
Yeah, and again, I think it's not for every week. I don't think it'll ever get greenlit or done.
No.
But I think a two-man scramble tour event, especially if you did it sometime in like a fun time of year, maybe like December.
That's what I was going to say.
Around holiday time when those guys go down to the Bahamas or something like that, I think would be a killer event. I still think they need to add a two-man match play event where the first, like let's say Wednesday and Thursday, you play stroke play. To then via the stroke play performance, you rank the teams 1 through 64, and you have the final 3 days. You have some sort of match play bracket type situation.
Yep.
But I wouldn't hate a two-man scramble.
No, anything that's going to change things up and make things more interesting, I'm all for in the game of golf.
So that's from the gallery. If you got stuff, send it in. Tweet at us, Instagram at us.
If you got more Bubba Watson stories, I will gladly read them loud and proud on the air.
Trent will read all of them. He might do a bonus episode just reading them.
That would be awesome. So if we get enough Bubba stories, I'll just read Bubba stories for a whole hour.
I think people would like that.
Me too.
On to the Players' Championship. This is always one of the most fun weeks of the year. The course, we were down there, what was it, 2 months ago now? A month and a half?
I think it was 2 months ago.
About 2 months ago. We saw it. It's undergone a decent amount of renovations. Yeah. The 12th hole, most notably, is completely different.
It's completely different. And we saw Jason Day was down there when we were down there, and he hit, how many drives did he hit? Because it was for a charity event.
He hit 8.
8 drives, on the new hole. And he couldn't get it right, but it's a great looking hole.
Yeah, so it's the 12th used to be this little weird kind of dog shit hole on the back 9 where it jetted out to the right. You pooch something out there that's less than driver, and then you just have a little flip wedge into the green. That was like kind of a weird green with mounds and shit around it. They've gotten rid of all that. There's just a lake, small pond, if you want to call it, hugging the entire left side. The fairway goes out a little bit to the right. It runs heavily right to left, slopes heavily right to left. So any drives that even are on line with like the middle of the green might land, if they land short, and kick and bounce into the water.
There is that landing area right in front of the green where if you hit it there, it's just going to roll left into the water every single time.
Yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see. We had a couple caddies when we played. Our Fore caddy was telling us that KJ Choi was in the group behind him, and he saw KJ Choi out there playing 4 different golf balls, kind of like experimenting with different holes, different stuff. He laid up on all 4 of them.
Yep.
So I think a lot of guys are going to be laying up. It'll be really interesting to see if people really need to pick up strokes, if guys try to hit drivers or 3-woods onto the green on Sunday. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the tees as well, because the tee that we saw Jason Day hit from is like 305 or something, and there's another tee further back that'll really probably limit people's enticitiveness to go towards the green.
Yeah, I hope they use the 305 tees a lot, because having guys try to go for it will be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I think they were kind of rumored that was they might use them like Saturday and Thursday or something like that. So it'll be interesting. There's been a lot of talk that the course is very firm right now, which is great.
Yeah.
We want the course to be firm. We want it to be running fast, hard. I've been going down a little bit of a rabbit hole lately.
Have you?
Yep. I watched. So if you go on to Golf Channel on demand, they have Players Championship highlights. They're like an hour-long show where they recap entire tournaments. I watched the Tiger 2013 one.
Hell yeah.
And I will say that the way that they built it up, the rush I got when Sergio hit it into the water again on 17 on Sunday to lose the tournament, and then hit it in the water again.
Oh, yeah.
To make like a 7 or an 8 or whatever the hell he made.
So good.
Was awesome.
Yep.
It was even better the second time. And then I was watching Phil's 2007 victory, which I didn't really remember a ton of the details. That was the only time Phil's won there. Sawgrass is crazy because it's just one of the most difficult courses for people to repeat at. Very few guys have won it twice. Our boy Elk, of course, did, and did not hesitate to tell us that. But when Phil won it in 2007, it was Sean O'Hare who was really young, and they were going toe-to-toe. O'Hare was a couple back on the 17th tee, and O'Hare did the same thing Sergio did. O'Hare pulls a 9-iron, and it was funny because it was a classic Johnny Miller, where Johnny Miller was like, 9-iron, that seems like way too much club. And then O'Hare hits it over the green in the water, and Johnny Miller's like, I told you. Way too much club. What is he doing? Must be the nerves got to his head.
Nerves.
He can't think. It was great. I was dying laughing at like 2 in the morning. Couldn't sleep last night. Yeah. I was so nervous for Feherty.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah, I didn't sleep at all.
No way.
I was so nervous.
You didn't tell me about that.
No, I didn't want to tell anybody beforehand.
I'm glad you did not tell me that.
I didn't want anybody to know that I was really nervous, so I just kept it under wraps.
I was definitely nervous, and we're going to go off the beaten path here a little bit, but I was definitely nervous, but I slept well.
I never, ever have problems sleeping, ever.
Yeah.
I love sleeping. I never sleep a ton. I usually get like 5-6 hours a night.
I'm a 6-hour guy, yeah.
That's pretty much it for me. I never get really 8. I don't need it. But last night, I went to bed. I want to say I went to bed around like 10:30. Woke up at like 1:30. Didn't fall asleep again till like 4:30. And got up like an hour and a half later. Couldn't sleep. And it was excitement. Like, I'm not tired today because I'm still running on adrenaline. I was so excited to have Feherty come in, and I knew we had a good idea for the video. I had a ton of shit I wanted to ask him. Yeah. So I was like, it was a nervous excitement.
It is one of those things, and this is what I do when I'm nervous about something that's upcoming. I'll look at the clock, and I'll count down exactly how many hours it is until I'm going to be doing that thing. So, like, last night, we were going to interview him at 10 this morning. It ended up being 11.
Yeah.
But, so, like, at 10 o'clock last night, I was like, 12 hours. In 12 hours, I'm going to be talking to David Feherty.
Yeah.
And then I'll wake up, because I'll occasionally wake up in the middle of the night. Maybe I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and be like, in 7 hours, I'm interviewing David Feherty. So that's kind of the same thing. I was definitely nervous about it. I was definitely excited, too.
Yeah. So I didn't sleep. This is why I went down these rabbit holes of watching, these different clips.
Yeah.
But it got me really juiced up. It got me all jacked up. Another little plug for Golf Channel. Go on, check those out. It'll get you all fired up for the course. There's a couple other renovations they made too on the front nine. I think it's around like the 6th and 7th hole, where they moved some dirt out of the way and I think extended a pond, that type of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how the guys react to it and all of that. Hopefully it plays difficult. It usually does.
Yeah, especially if it's firm, it'll be very difficult.
Firm is always good out there. You like to see these guys get tripped up. We like to see tough golf more than we like to see a million birdies. We say that every week.
We do.
So it'll be a fun week. It's the Players' Championship. We may or may not be down there. We don't know yet.
Yeah, it's still up in the air.
But go check out our video with Feherty, which should be out if you're listening to this podcast right now. I think that's all I got, Trent.
Do you want to make any sort of pick for the players?
I really like Ricky Fowler this week.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
I think, all this talk about him and the new girl. He was at the Derby. He's relaxed.
He's having a blast at the Derby.
Having a blast. He won the Honda Classic. He's obviously won here 2 years ago is what it was?
Yeah.
2015.
2015.
Just hitting wedge after wedge after wedge, and they're tight on 17 and making birdies. I really like Ricky this week.
I'm going to take, this is chalk, but I'm going to take DJ because I think his back has been fine. I think it's always been fine. He looked great at the Wells Fargo, just barely, didn't win the thing. His 4th start in a row. Everything's coming up DJ right now. Even though his behind the scenes maybe not, we don't really know. Rumors, allegedly.
Doesn't matter as long as
Doesn't
he's
matter.
playing. He's playing.
If he plays well, he plays well. So, boom, boom. I'm taking DJ.
I'm pumped. We're gonna be all over it. We'll be covering it all weekend. We got the new guy. We'll be on the job Thursday. He's coming in hot.
We're throwing him to the fire. We're not even gonna have Robbie tell him what to do. We're just gonna put him in here and
Just
see
gonna
what he
put
does.
cameras and show